Ja, herzlich willkommen zu einer neuen Ausgabe SI Talk. Bin nach wie vor in Vancouver und ich habe ein Interview jetzt mit Silver One. Silver One kenne ich ja schon sehr, sehr lange. Growe, er ist Präsident und CEO, wird uns einmal ein Update zum Unternehmen geben. Er ist auch regelmäßig in Deutschland und da können die Leute ihn auch dann dementsprechend treffen. Er ist normalerweise auf der Edelmetallmesse in München und so weiter und so fort. Greg, thank you for the time. And I said in my German introduction, you are really often also in Germany, so normally on the Edelmetallmesse and so on, so that people can meet you there. But I don't know if we do an interview in the past.
Not with you, no. Okay, I have done interviews with others, but not you.
Then it's a start interview. So that's me. The first question is, what you're doing, and in a nutshell. So give us the 30-second elevator pitch.
Okay, Joe, just to let you know, Silver One has 3 projects, 2 in Nevada, 1 in Arizona. The flagship property is called the Candelaria past producing silver mine, and we're just about to make the final payment on that to SSR Mining, which will give us a 100% interest with no royalties back to SSR Mining. Mm-hmm. Essentially, we're advancing. We've done quite a bit of drilling. We're doing metallurgical work right now, and we're advancing towards a resource calculation and an eventual economic study. Mm-hmm. Now, our other most important project is in Arizona called Phoenix Silver. There we have uncovered huge silver vein fragments weighing up to 417 pounds, or just under 200 kilograms, that are averaging up to 70% pure silver. So we have a drill permit that has been allocated to us from the Forestry Division, and probably this fall we'll be drilling that to find hopefully find the location of the of where these vein fragments came from.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you find this in some boulders there, on the surface?
Well, I call them vein fragments, and what they are is, if you're not familiar, silver is a very soft mineral or element, and when it transports, it gets rounded very fast, and you form little silver nuggets or whatever. Mm-hmm. This is a 417-pound vein fragment that comes up to almost 2/3 of my height, containing up to 70% pure silver, which means it was found approximately 1 meter underneath the soil cover. There's no outcrop. And so it could not have traveled very far from the vein source. So we have designed a drill program to be able to test all around where those big vein fragments were found to try and find the underground source of that mineralization.
You find more veins?
We found several.
In the same area?
In the same area we found multiple ones, but across the property there are other areas which we haven't secured a drill program for yet, but we found some other areas with up to 200 smaller fragments.
Okay. Can a geophysics program here helps to find out?
We did originally in the early days. We went and we did a little bit of trenching around the vein fragment, and we believe we found the structure which hosts that mineralization. But we also did not only ground geophysics, we did airborne geophysics, and we did an extensive soil geochemical program. So we've outlined some good anomalous areas that we're going to test with the drill program.
Okay. Sounds very good. So coming back to the program from SSR, you coming up with recently with a financing of $5 million. Mm-hmm. So, and this financing you need to pay the rest off from SSR.
That is correct. Yes, and we'll be doing that probably very soon.
Okay, perfect. So now you're 100% owner of this project. So brings me to them think what you are doing this year, maybe in each of the projects, so that we get a rough idea.
Okay, to put it into context, at Candelaria, Silver Standard back in 2002, which is the company which morphed into SSR Mining. Right. the Silver Standard had done a drill program and outlined a 43101 resource. That 43101 resource is now outdated, so it's deemed historic. We've done enough drilling in the last couple of years where we now have the ability to update that historic resource to current. With that, we've combined it with metallurgical sampling, and that metallurgical sampling is ongoing. We've got another couple of months worth of what are called column leach testing to be done. We have some preliminary testing, and as soon as we get that organized, it's just coming back in. We'll get that out to our investors as well, what the results are. And the idea is to look at potentially combining fresh mineralization with heap leach mineralization, and we do have a 43101 report on the heap leach mineralization, which hosts about 30 million ounces measured and indicated and another 15 million ounces inferred, and then we have this historic resource which is in ground. So if we mix the fresh mineralization with the heap leach mineralization, we're hoping that will bring up the average grade and the potential recoveries to make economics look much more attractive.
Okay, one question, the historical resources, how big was there?
The historic resource was just under 50 million ounces at the measured and indicated, and about another 35 million ounces at the inferred. That was the historic. In-ground hard rock.
Yeah.
Yes.
The heap leach, then you say maybe with fresh rock and grade up the grade. So what this mean? How high you can grade up, and in which grade you can grade up?
Well, traditionally the average grade of the production from the early days of Kinross mining, which was prior to Silver Standard acquiring the project. They acquired it from Kinross. Kinross shut it down because of the collapse of silver prices back in '97, down to $2.50 per ounce silver. So when they were mining it, the average grades coming out of the pits seemed to be, from the historical records, somewhere around 80 to 90 grams per ton. The resource that we're going to be looking at might be slightly lower grade, but it could also be slightly bigger as well. So that's what we're looking at. I can't give you the exact numbers at this stage until we finalize it with the engineers, because what happens is you do your drilling, you get your assay results, you do your metallurgical testing, and then you hand it over to all the engineers who crunch all the numbers and put out, okay, this is the most economic resource and this is the best economic plan going forward. We haven't done that yet, and that's what's going to be taking place over the next several months.
Okay. Okay, this is this project. What is the project in Arizona?
The Phoenix Silver. Yeah, Phoenix Silver. As I said, we're finding it's an interesting project in that it's just on the margin of a huge porphyry copper mining center. We can stand on our property and look across the valley to where Freeport McMoran is mining the old Miami and processing copper out of the old Miami complex. It's also right in the same area where Rio Tinto and BHP are trying to bring in production, the Resolution project. And that's being stalled because they've been negotiating for new land deals and things like that. But it seems to be moving forward quite nicely. So it's a huge copper mining area, but we're in an old silver camp just on the margin of the copper area. And there's some past producing vein deposits just to the northeast of it. So it's just right along strike of the main regional structure. On our project, what we plan on doing is trying to locate the source of these huge vein fragments, silver vein fragments, which we have uncovered. We actually assayed some, and we're getting up to 460,000 grams per ton silver out of some of these pure silver vein fragments. We've now put together a proposed drill program to target the area where we think these vein fragments came from. That was secured through the Forestry Division. The Forestry Division is much slower moving, shall we say, than the BLM, but we have secured a drill program, and that drill program we hope to implement Probably not this summer because this is the high forest fire season, and so probably in the fall we will initiate that drill program.
And how large should the drill program
The
be?
drill program is about 2,500 meters.
And how deep you will drill?
Oh, it's those vein fragments were uncovered just about a meter under the soil. And so we don't believe we have to go very deep. The maximum we would go would be about 100 meters, but some of them may be as short as 50 meters.
So that means you can drill 25 up to more
Up
than
to
that?
40, up to 40 holes is what
So-
we've designed from 13 different drill pads.
Yeah, that's good. This is you get results when you find something that is very interesting.
It could be very interesting, yes.
Okay. Any other plans? You have a third project.
We have a third project called Cherokee in eastern Nevada. It's an early stage, very promising project, but it's very early stage, and what we have to do is work on getting a work program designed and get the permits from the Nevada government. And because some of the targets are isolated, it probably take, we have to do some overall studies, biodiversity studies, migratory studies, etc., before we're going to get that permit. So I don't anticipate doing anything there until later this year or early into next year.
Okay. We know exactly exploration is not really cheap. It's
No,
expensive.
it is not.
And so how to finance this everything? Do you have enough money? Also with the payback of the
Yeah, with the SSR payment, and we still do have some in our treasury as well. We have enough money to be able to do as you said, payback the bond, which is the last step in acquiring the 100% interest in Candelaria. We could do the drilling, but as I said, we'd probably prefer to wait until the fall to do that drilling. We have enough G&A capital to last us a year. So, would we go back to the markets and do another financing? Let's see how things materialize. If we feel that there are some really good additional targets at Candelaria that we want to do a big drill program on, we're not financed to do that right now. So maybe in the fall we'll go back and try and do that as well.
So how the capital structure looks like at the moment after the last raise? So how many shares are outstanding?
Approximately, yeah, well, with the last raise, it's probably going to be about 45 million, in that range there. And then we'll probably have in our bank account around 6.5 to 7 million. But we do have a 2.4, which is a 3.5 million Canadian commitment to that bond as well.
Okay. Any bigger shareholder in your company?
Well, yes, some of our previous very large shareholders have participated in the current financing, and one shareholder who is of particular note, he's our largest shareholder, Eric Sprott, of famed mining investor. He's participated now in 4 different financings, private placements into the company. He's our largest shareholder at approximately around 15%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a certain number when new shareholders must be coming up and then they must be announced on it? So what is the percentage?
Yes, in Canada the percentage on the TSX venture company is if you go to 10%, you then become essentially an insider, and you need to file any transactions which respect to now if you fall below 10%, then you can stop filing. But if you're above 20%, you're what's called a control, and you have to actually give notice to the company that you're going to sell or buy.
Okay. So that means all people under 10% are under the radar, and if they are not showing up at you and say, hey, I have 8% of the company, you don't know it.
Not necessarily, but we can do what's called a no-bo list, which you have to pay for, and in the no-bo list you can get the listing of the various shareholders.
Okay, great. Thank you for the first introduction to your company. Hopefully we can do this kind of interview form in the near future again.
Okay.
Jetzt Zusammenfassung, also Silver One hat quasi 3 Projekte, eines sehr junges in Nevada, über das braucht man nicht wirklich viel reden. Dann haben sie ein Projekt von SSA gekauft, das früher eine alte Mine war, die Kinross betrieben hat. Da haben sie jetzt eine 5 Millionen Raise gemacht, das hat ein bisschen den Markt verunsichert, weil das mit 21 Cent waren, die Aktie selber irgendwo bei 37, 38 notiert, aber die Preisfestlegung ist schon früher passiert und das Raise haben sie deswegen gemacht, damit sie nämlich die letzte Final Payment haben machen können an SSA. Somit gehört dann das Projekt zu 100%. Und dort haben sie jetzt, gibt es eine historische Ressource drauf, sie haben sehr viel gedrillt, sie wollen ein Update machen von der historischen Ressource auf 43101 konforme Ressource. When you say you plan a new 43101 conform resource update.
Mhm.
When you plan for this?
Well, I said we're going to be handing all the information over to the engineers, and they will crunch the data. It could be a couple of months before they're done crunching the data. Usually what happens is they start doing the calculations, and there's a lot of back and forth with the company. They need a little more information, they need this, and probably a couple of months.
Okay, but this year?
I believe it will be this year, barring complications. Or if we find something brand new that we want to incorporate in, it could delay it.
Okay.
You know, these are just the nature of doing this type of work.
Ja.
Mhm.
Also es kann heuer nur sein, dass sie eine Resource-Update machen dazu. Es hängt immer davon, hat er erklärt, wie gerade so ein Resource-Update besteht. Man gibt diese Daten den ganzen Geologen und Ingenieure, die arbeiten dran, kommen dann wieder retour zu Unternehmen, brauchen wieder mehr Fragen und so weiter und das dauert alles ein paar Monate. Wie lang kann ich nicht wirklich sagen. Wenn alles ohne Probleme läuft, dann wird es dieses Jahr sein. Kommen Sie mit irgendwelchen neuen Informationen, weil Sie eben ja auch heuer wieder Explorationsarbeit machen, dann kann es sein, dass Sie sagen, okay, wir ziehen es nach hinten raus, weil wir haben so viele gute Informationen, damit es einfach wir noch warten mit der Ressourcenerschätzung, damit wir eine bessere bekommen, wenn es dann fertig ist. Das ist das eine Projekt und das zweite Projekt ist heißt Phoenix, ist auch im Nevada. Sie haben dort so, er nennt es Venenfragmente, das heißt, das sind richtig große Fragmente, also der sagt teilweise die Größe von 2/3 von ihm selber. Und die haben allerdings einen extrem hohen Content an Silber. Und Silber ist ein sehr weiches Metall und wenn sich das stark bewegt, dann wird es sehr schnell rund und man kriegt einfach sehr runde, abgeschliffene Nuggets und das ist in dem Fall nicht der Fall. Das heißt, sie gehen davon aus, dass sie dort in der Nähe sind, wo diese hochgradigen. How high was the grade by these fragments, vein fragments?
Okay, the large vein fragment that was just under 200 kilograms, that averaged about 70% silver. We didn't actually assay it, but we assayed some of the smaller fragments, which came up to 465,000 grams per ton silver.
Okay, bis zu 70% war das pure Silber. Sie haben es nicht ganz analysiert, weil die ganzen großen Fragmente nicht. Aber sie haben kleinere Fragmente gemacht und das ist eine unglaubliche Zahl. Und sie sind natürlich auf dem Weg, das zu finden, wo das herkommt. Er sagt, es kann sich nicht weit bewegt haben, weil eben die Kanten relativ scharf sind, also es hat sich noch nicht viel bewegt. Sie haben natürlich Geophysik gemacht, sie haben Geochemie gemacht und sie haben jetzt auch eine Idee, wo sie sind. Sie werden im Herbst bohren, warum nicht im Sommer? Im Sommer ist es zu trocken und dann könnten Waldbrände entstehen und daher werden sie erst im Herbst bohren und sie planen dort 2500 Meter zu bohren, sehr oberflächennahe, 50 bis 100 Meter nur, das heißt 25 bis 40 Bohrlöcher von 35, glaube ich. You say 35 drill pads? By the
No. There's 13 drill pads,
13.
but we're going to drill multiple holes from each pad. We can do up to 40 holes.
Ja, okay. Also bis zu 40 Holes können es bohren, also, weil wie gesagt, das Bohren ist nur sehr oberflächennahe und das könnte natürlich wieder ein riesen Boom auflösen, wenn die irgendwo diese Struktur auch noch finden würden. Diese Venenfragmente, muss man dazu sagen, haben sie teilweise an der Oberfläche gefunden, also nur mit ungefähr 1 Meter war es quasi unter der Erde, und das ist sehr, sehr spannend. One last question. What was the reason why the share price, or you think was the reason why the share price has really a nice run in the last few weeks?
Silver prices.
Silver price.
Yeah, if you look at our silver, our price chart, I've also put on that, and you can look at this on our presentation off the website. We also superimpose the price of silver, and you'll see that we kind of go in tandem with the silver prices. With the run up in silver prices over $25 per ounce, that really brought a lot of interest back into the silver markets. It was very, very limited for the last several months, so it's good to see that.
Okay. Also ich habe ihn gefragt, warum ist denn die Aktie so gut gelaufen, ob es einen Grund dafür gibt. Und er sagt, sie hängen sehr stark mit dem Silberpreis zusammen. Nachdem der Silberpreis ja auf $25 gegangen ist, haben sie auch einen schönen Run drauf gehabt. Ich glaube, weil ich mich richtig erinnere, haben es 240 Millionen Aktien derzeit draußen, was gar nicht so wenig ist, haben 6-7 Millionen am Konto, zahlen jetzt allerdings diesen Bond auch retour, aber sie haben genug Geld, die ganze Exploration und Bohrungen auf beiden Projekten durchzuführen. Und finden Sie natürlich irgendwo was Größeres, müssen Sie natürlich eine weitere Finanzierung machen, damit das Ganze dementsprechend auch dann gebohrt werden kann. Interessant, vor allem natürlich dieses Phoenix-Projekt ist für mich wirklich extrem spannend. Ich meine, bis zu 70% in so großen Boulder zu finden, oder Venenfragmente, wie er sagt, zu finden, ist sehr spannend. Ich verstehe aber, warum man diese Unterscheidung macht, weil diese Boulders, die sind über längere Zeitraum. Er sagt aber, das muss irgendwo in der Nähe sein, das sind Venenfragmente. Das ist eben eine wichtige Unterscheidung, weil bei dem einen weiß man nicht, woher er kommt, bei dem anderen muss man sagen, das muss in der unmittelbaren Umgebung gewesen sein. Also extrem spannend, was da dementsprechend rauskommt, und das kann natürlich eine richtige Bombe sein, die dann da dementsprechend rauskommt. Ja, das war's von Silber One im April 2023, Vancouver. Tschüss und Baba, für dich. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.